When did we start punishing the victim? Better yet, when did deacons at Woke United Methodist start punishing victims instead of creating and celebrating fake victims? I am incredibly confused here. Someone please make it make sense. For the past 36 hours, I have been inundated with pleas for sympathy on Twitter. I have been inundated with women begging for sympathy and validation from complete strangers. Woke women who are pretending to be victims. The other night, some doofus that works on the regional broadcast for the Atlanta Braves, he asked a beautiful woman for her phone number on live television. It was a great moment. Some would say it was a classic moment that represents how things used to be. Young man sees a beautiful woman. He approaches her and asks for her phone number. Young woman blushes. Oh, stop. She gives the man her phone number. They go out on a date the following night, and 3 dates later, they are interrupting the sleeping guest at the Red Roof Inn. Normal people viewed this as a natural interaction between a man and a woman. Not the woke women, though. No. This was not natural human interaction. This was damn near harassment. This was another example of how impossible toxic masculinity makes it to be a modern woman. Deacons at Woke United Methodist, they went from not being able to define a woman without the assistance of a biologist, then they evolved to men identifying as women and eventually becoming a medically induced woman, and now they're whining about the impossibility of living as a woman. Hell, we have been saying the same thing for years here on the channel. Men aren't women. While woke women are portraying themselves as the ultimate victim on social media and whining about how difficult it is to be a woman, there is a real woman who is actually a victim, and she's being conveniently ignored by the mainstream media. If you Google the story about the announcer from the Braves, you'll find countless articles from the media. Some in the media went through the extra trouble to refer to the Braves as the Guardians, so they wouldn't risk offending beta males like Bill Plaschke who are triggered by the word Chiefs. The media was quick to defend fake victims. They were quick to highlight the difficulties of women who are asked out on dates by dudes. Ironically enough, these are some of the same women who complain about being single while making late-night trips to the store to buy batteries. The media was quick to defend those victims. But when it comes to a real victim like Stephanie Turner, the mainstream media chooses to exercise their right to remain silent. I wonder why. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's get to the sponsor for today's video, a company who teaches you how to protect yourself and not be a victim, my good friends at Praetorian Consulting. Over the last 4 years with Johnny B. Biden, we were living with a regime that wanted us completely reliant on the federal government, when the reality is, we should be as self-reliant and autonomous as possible. I'm sure you guys have heard the saying that when seconds count, the police are minutes away. The police are a reactionary force, which means the safety of your family is in your hands when it matters most. Same is true for emergency situations like car accidents. You need to be prepared, and that's where Praetorian Consulting steps in. Praetorian Consulting offers a full suite of emergency planning services and tailor-made packages designed to meet any concerns in your life, whether it's protecting your digital privacy on your phone and computer, or medical emergencies at home or on the road, home defense, communications. Praetorian Consulting offers the products and expertise that will have you relying on yourself when it matters most. Daniel, the owner of Praetorian Consulting. He's a former Marine who has spent his career identifying and mitigating risk. He knows what he is talking about, so click the link in the description below. Become self-reliant with Praetorian Consulting today. A couple of weeks ago, I told you guys about Stephanie Turner. Steph has dedicated her life to professional fencing. Now, me personally, I don't really understand fencing. I don't understand the appeal of poking another dude with the big stick. But either way, fencing is extremely important to Stephanie Turner, and it's something that she has dedicated her life to. Years of training. Years of competing to make it to this level. Several weeks ago, Stephanie Turner, she was competing in a tournament that was sponsored by USA Fencing. As she stepped onto the mat, which those in the business call the strip, Stephanie Turner immediately noticed a problem. Like damn near every other sport, fencing is separated into categories. Men poke other men with the big pole, while women compete against other women. Very simple, but as Stephanie Turner approached the mat, she felt something was off. Maybe it was the 5 o'clock shadow, maybe it was the masculine features of her opponent, or maybe it was the bottle of Just for Men that was noticeably sticking out of her opponent's bag. Whatever it was, Stephanie Turner noticed that she was not competing against a woman. She was competing against a former man. As a result, Stephanie Turner decided to protest her match by utilizing the preferred protesting method of deacons at Woke United Methodist. Watch for yourself. Stephanie Turner was eliminated from the tournament that day after deciding to forfeit her match against Redmond Sullivan. Normal people would have reversed that decision. Normal people would have disqualified Redmond Sullivan from the tournament for competing in the wrong gender division. But USA Fencing's all about inclusion. Except, of course, when we're talking about including women in a women's tournament. In that case, USA Fencing is all about exclusion. Stephanie Turner forfeiting her match, that was bad enough, but that was not enough of a punishment for USA Fencing, because Stephanie Turner had the audacity to peacefully protest, because Stephanie Turner chose to kneel during her match instead of kneeling during the national anthem. USA Fencing decided that it was appropriate to put Stephanie Turner on a 12-month probation. They put her on probation for a damn year for forfeiting a match against a biological dude. Let me just put this in perspective for you. 5 years ago, peaceful protesters filled the streets of major cities. They burned buildings, they stormed police precincts, they set cop cars on fire, and their punishment was nothing. Hell, the only people who got punished were the police, who were defunded. Megan Rapinoe decided to start kneeling for the national anthem, and she ostracized any teammate who refused to join her protest. What was her punishment? Meg went from being an unknown soccer player who was barely making minimum wage in the NWSL to being a famous multimillionaire who married the Sue Bird. Last year, paid protesters, or I think they were paid protesters, they were disguised as college students. They took over Ivy League campuses to free Palestine. Were they kicked out of school? If I had to guess, they were probably given scholarships. I damn sure don't think they were punished. But when Stephanie Turner refuses to compete against a biological dude, she's put on probation for a year. Someone please make it make sense. Earlier this week, Stephanie Turner was interviewed by Fox News, which is one of the only mainstream media outlets covering this story. She explained to Fox News that she was stepping away from fencing for a little while. She alluded to the fact that I guess she no longer felt comfortable, and she wanted to use her break to fight for other women so they don't have to deal with men invading their sports. But Stephanie Turner said something that I've never thought about. We often hear about transgender athletes and the effects that public scrutiny has on their lives. I'm no longer allowed to compete against women because my identity has been revealed. They're making me compete against men. We don't always hear about what it's like for the real victims. We see people like Riley Gaines, who went from losing to Leah Thomas to having a lucrative career fighting for women's rights, but we don't always hear about what they've lost. Besides, of course, their spot on the women's team. We don't hear about their lives being interrupted because they had the audacity to take a stand. Stephanie Turner explained to Fox News that her so-called friends have ostracized her. I guess she had friends in the LGBT community, and they are no longer speaking to her because she doesn't want Ken, who became Jen, to compete against her athletically. But she's now become friends with Riley Gaines, and Stephanie Turner said something that caught my attention. Before Riley Gaines started raising awareness on this issue, Stephanie Turner was a lifelong Democrat. As soon as Democrats started embracing the woke wiener, she changed her political affiliation to Republican. I wonder how many millions of others did the same thing. And I wonder if this is why Democrats are suddenly silent on the transgender issue. Give me your thoughts on this. Stephanie Turner put on probation for a year because she refused to compete against a biological dude. Redmond Sullivan wasn't punished for competing against women. The woman was punished for refusing to compete against a biological dude. Make it make sense. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.